Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 7 of Shattered Image, and this one is titled The Angst. You let out a sadistic laugh. Dick, you chuckled. I love putting cocky people in their places. Sero cocked his head to the side as he watched you walk ahead. I trap people, you finally replied to Sero. If I make eye contact with someone and activate my quirk, I can trap them in a hypnotic state, trick them into thinking they're in a perpetual mirror maze. On the outside, they're just standing still and staring into space, but internally, in their mind, they think they're walking around, wandering through a mirror maze. Oh, I see, Sero said thoughtfully, thinking about it. There's no ending, you said as you stopped and looked back at him with this giant sadistic grin on your face. They're stuck in there until I release them, or someone breaks them out, like a quirk-cancelling quirk. No one's ever broken out of it by themselves. Oh, right, Sero said with a slightly fearful look on his face. Great quirk, right? You asked with a sly smirk. Quirk fit for a hero, right? I guess so, Sero replied. Quirks are quirks, though. They're just a skill. They're neither hero nor villain. It's what you choose to do with them. That's what matters. You stopped and looked at him. This was the first time someone had ever said something like that to you. Yeah, whatever, he replied coldly, turning away from him and continuing along the track to school. For some reason, this guy really pissed you off. He seemed almost indifferent to your quirk. Everyone usually had something to say about it. Never anything nice, so I guess this was the closest thing to nice, and it felt weird. Like you'd been seen beneath your quirk. What a goody two-shoes dick, you thought with a scowl. Sero didn't try and make you talk again after that. He could feel that you were mad, but he had no idea what had upset you. He figured it was something to do with your friends earlier and just decided to leave it at that. That day you kept extra quiet and even didn't hide in your usual spot at lunch. You didn't feel like talking to Sero again, so just hid in the girls' toilets all lunch, and then just as the final bell rang, you did a runner, not even going to your locker to get your books for home, just grabbing your bag from beside your desk and making a run for it. You took the back way home as usual, but didn't bump into Hanni, Talon or Vix. You weren't even thinking about them, you just wanted to get home and away from everyone. But Hanni wasn't done with you yet and was determined to have that fight with you. Of all people, she was the most likely to hold a grudge till her dying day, and then even if she did come back as a ghost, she would definitely be the one to haunt you till your dying day. Are you still trying to pick a fight with Yin? Talon asked her as the three of them walked into the town that afternoon. Pick a fight? She shot at Talon. I'm not picking a fight, she started it and I'll finish it. She has lied to me for the last time, that bitch, and I'll see to it that she gets brought down a level or two. She thinks she's better than us now. She's nothing but a psychopath. Talon rolled her eyes. Just give it up already, who cares? She grumped. I care, and if you're going to take her side, then get lost, Hanni snarled. I'll use my quirk on you too. I wasn't taking her side. I just want to chill and hang, not hunt someone down all over town, Talon grumbled back. Guys, chill, Vix whined. Hanni, baby, I feel you, girly, but for reals though, I just want to be low-key today. Screw both of you, Hanni shot as she spun around to face Talon and Vix, who were behind her a bit. She didn't get a chance to say more though, since Vix spotted a familiar guy ahead and looked past Hanni to get a better look at him. Hey, isn't it that guy? She asked excitedly, her tail waving and ears pointing forwards with glee. Hanni looked back over her shoulder to where Vix was looking and spotted the familiar person in question right away. Hey, she called as she turned and sprinted towards him, Talon and Vix running after her to keep up. Sero had heard someone yell, but didn't think it was for him until he was suddenly blocked by three girls around his age. He stopped and looked at them, recognizing them immediately. Oh, he said. Is that all? Hanni sneered. Hey, so how's your girlfriend going? She then asked with airs. What? Sero blinked at her. You know, Yin, since you're always there saving her, she leered. Sero looked at Hanni. This one is bad news, he thought as he remained silent, just looking. Oh, no comment, huh? I guess you think she's worth saving, right? Poor Yin. I'd watch my back if I were you, Hanni went on. Don't want to get too close to that one. Sero bit down on his teeth, his jaw muscles flexing. You had already told him about the situation, so he really didn't need to say anything, but he wanted to defend you. He felt like no one had ever stood up for you before. He breathed out a little heavily and went to step around the girls, but Hanni stepped to the side again, pushing Vix out of the way so that she could block Sero's path again. Why are you defending and protecting her? She's only going to stab you in the back. She's a lying bitch and she knows it. She thrives off it, Hanni added. She doesn't care one bit about you. Sero had had about enough then and stared Hanni down. You done? He asked when she hadn't said anything for a bit. You're a simp, that's what you are, she said with a smirk. Sero just put his head down and stepped to the side again, pushing between her and Vix and purposefully walking on. You'll regret it, Hanni called after him. I know she's just trying to get under my skin, but it's a good question. It is true. Why am I helping Yin so much? He asked himself as he continued home. I should probably warn her about the girls. I'll need to get her number though, he thought. The next morning, Sero left his place early and headed to the back way to school and waited at the gate there. He knew it was too early and that you hadn't gotten there yet, so he just decided to sit down and wait for you to arrive. He didn't have to wait long, since 10 minutes later you came walking up the path, head down, with his jumper on. Obviously you hadn't been expecting him to be waiting there, so you stopped with surprise when you spotted him sitting on the ground. What are you doing? You asked him. Oh, I'm waiting for you, he said as he got up and dusted off his backside. Why? You shot at him. Because I need your number, he said casually. What? You snapped with surprise. Listen, I just feel like it might be a good idea to be able to contact each other quickly, just in case, he said. In case of what? You asked curtly. In case I bump into them again, he said as he looked away. Them? Who's them? Hanni, Talon and Vix? You asked. Yeah, he replied. So I can smack a bitch? You asked. No, he replied quickly. No, so I can warn you to stay away. Ugh, you said with an eye roll. I don't need your protecting, Prince Charming. Ew, you said with disgust. No one asked you anyway. I said warn you, Sarah replied. I didn't say any of the other stuff. You did. Never mind, he added as he turned and picked up his bag. Just be careful, okay? And with that, he turned and entered the gates and headed into the building across the oval, leaving you standing there watching him go. You felt a little ache in your heart as he left and looked down your front. Ugh, I'm so stupid. He's just trying to be genuinely nice. I know that, you thought, as you looked down at his oversized jumper on you. How pathetic. I said all of that to him while wearing his jumper. What a dumb bitch, you thought, as you stepped into the school grounds. Sero walked to his locker and opened it to put his books away. I hate that Hanni has made me question it, but why am I helping Yin? She clearly doesn't want anything to do with me. Maybe I should just leave her be, he thought, as he packed his books away and then pulled out the first few for class. As he closed his locker, you stepped into the building, the pair of you stopping and looking at each other. Will they ever become friends? We'll find out. It's not going to be in the next chapter, but just stick with me. Hopefully it will get better. Next chapter, chapter 8, coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.